All right, let's be honest. How many of you right now have that tiny nagging knot in your stomach? That what if feeling that hits when your car makes a weird noise, or the washing machine starts rattling, or, God forbid, you get an unexpected bill in the mail. It's not full-blown panic, not yet. It's that low-grade hum of financial anxiety, that constant, quiet dread that just lingers. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? It's the feeling of living paycheck to paycheck, even if you think you make decent money. It's the tightrope walk where one wrong step, one minor financial hiccup, sends your entire budget crashing down. My name is John, and I spend way too much time thinking about why we, as intelligent, capable adults, allow ourselves to feel this way about money. If you're someone who feels trapped by that financial anxiety, constantly stressed about unexpected expenses, or just wants to breathe a little easier, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. And seriously, give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're tackling the $1,000 cushion, the 1-month challenge to end financial anxiety. Now, before you click away thinking, oh great, another personal finance guru telling me to save 6 months of expenses, just hold on a second. Because here's what most people don't realize. That massive, daunting emergency fund? It's not where you start. It's the finish line. And trying to jump straight to the finish line is why so many people feel like they're failing before they even begin. Look, I get it. The conventional wisdom is save 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And that's fantastic advice, eventually. But when you're just starting, or when you're feeling financially fragile, that number can feel insurmountable. It's like telling someone who's never run a mile to go sign up for a marathon tomorrow. It's demotivating, it's overwhelming, and it leads to inaction. This is where it gets really interesting. What if I told you that just $1,000 could eliminate 80% of your financial anxiety? Not $10,000, not $5,000, $1,000. A single grand. That's it. And you can achieve it in 1 month. Now, you might be thinking, John, $1,000? What's that going to do? My rent is more than that. My car payment is more than that. And you're right, on the surface. But you're missing the crucial psychological shift that this small cushion creates. Let's talk statistics for a second, because numbers don't lie. A study by the Federal Reserve in 2022 found that 37% of Americans would have difficulty covering an unexpected expense of $400. Let that sink in. Almost 4 out of 10 people couldn't handle a $400 car repair, a sudden doctor's visit, or a broken appliance without either going into debt or selling something. What does this tell us? It tells us that for a huge chunk of the population, their financial foundation is built on quicksand. Any minor tremor, and the whole thing starts to wobble. And that wobble, my friends, is where the anxiety lives. Here's the thing about a $1,000 cushion. It covers the vast majority of those oh crap moments. Your tire blows out? $200. The fridge stops working? Maybe $500 for a repair or a used replacement. A sudden urgent care visit? $150 copay. These are the things that derail budgets, force credit card debt, and send your stress levels through the roof. But with $1,000 sitting there, specifically earmarked for these emergencies, they become inconveniences, not catastrophes. Let's imagine 2 scenarios. Scenario A. Sarah has $50 in her checking account. Her car tire blows out on the way to work. She needs a new one immediately. It's $200. What are her options? Put it on a high-interest credit card? Beg a friend? Or miss work and potentially lose money? Stress level? Maxed out. Scenario B. Mike has $1,000 in a separate savings account labeled Oops Fund. His car tire blows out. He sighs, maybe grumbles a bit. He takes $200 from his Oops Fund, gets the new tire, and moves on with his day. Stress level? Annoyed, but not panicked. The math is simple, but the psychology is profound. That $1,000 isn't just money. It's a security blanket. It's permission to relax a little. It's the knowledge that when life inevitably throws a curveball, you have the resources to catch it without falling apart. This is where it gets really interesting, because building this cushion isn't about deprivation. It's about prioritization. Now you might be thinking, okay, John, I get it. $1,000 is great, but where in the heck am I supposed to find $1,000 in a month when I'm already struggling? And that's a fair question. This isn't about magically manifesting money. This is about focused, intentional effort for 30 days. And it involves a few key strategies. For 1 month, I want you to go through every single expense like a detective on a cold case. Not just the big ones, but the little ones. That daily coffee? That streaming service you barely watch? Those impulse buys on Amazon? Everything. And I mean everything. Let's do some quick math. Daily coffee at $5, 5 times a week. $25 per a week equals $100 a month. Eating lunch out 3 times a week at $12 each. $36 per a week equals $144 a month. Unused gym membership, $40 a month. One forgotten subscription, $15 a month. A few impulse buys, $50 a month. That's $349 right there. And that's being conservative. For 1 month, can you make your coffee at home? Can you pack your lunch? Can you temporarily pause that streaming service? Can you be super intentional about every single dollar leaving your account? Absolutely you can. It's not forever, it's 30 days. This is where we get proactive. For 1 month, what can you do to bring in extra cash? Sell stuff. Look around your house. That old video game console? Those clothes you haven't worn in a year? That dusty guitar? Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Craigslist. You'd be amazed what people will pay for your clutter. Let's say you clear out $200 to $300 worth of stuff. Easy. Look at that. We just found $999 in 1 month. Without winning the lottery or getting a promotion, we just stopped the leaks and turned up the pressure on the faucet. Here's the thing. The math is actually the easy part. You can add and subtract. You know that spending less than you earn results in a surplus. But if it were just about math, nobody would have credit card debt and everyone would have a retirement account. Money is 90% psychology and 10% math. When you start this challenge, your brain is going to fight you. Around day 14, you're going to be tired. You're going to pass that Starbucks and your brain will whisper, "It's just $5, John. You worked hard today. You deserve this." This is where most people fail. They mistake a want for a deserved right. You don't deserve a latte if it keeps you in a state of constant financial terror. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve to sleep through the night without wondering if your debit card will be declined at the grocery store. This $1,000 cushion is your first win. For many of you, it will be the first time in your adult life that you have a comma in your savings account that isn't already spoken for by a bill. That feeling? It's addictive. It changes how you carry yourself. You stop looking at the world as a series of potential financial disasters and start looking at it as something you can actually manage. Now, I can hear the comment section already. John, I have $20,000 in credit card debt at 24% interest. Shouldn't I put that $1,000 toward the debt instead of letting it sit in a savings account? No, absolutely not. Here is why most people never get out of debt. They try to pay off the card, an emergency happens, they have no cash, so they put the emergency back on the card. They're a hamster on a wheel. They're running as fast as they can, but they aren't going anywhere. The $1,000 cushion is the circuit breaker. It breaks the cycle of borrowing. When the emergency happens, and it will, you pay cash. You don't touch the credit card. For the first time, your debt actually stays down when you pay it. This is important. Do not leave this $1,000 in your primary checking account. If it's there, you'll spend it. It'll get sucked up by a Target run or an accidental subscription renewal. You need to put this money in a high-yield savings account, HYSA, at a completely different bank. It needs to be out of sight. It needs to earn a little interest, though at $1,000, we're talking about a few bucks a year. It's the principle that matters. It needs to be accessible, but not too accessible. No debit card attached to it. If you need the money, you have to initiate a transfer that takes 24 hours. That 24-hour gap is the cooling-off period that prevents you from using your emergency fund for a pizza emergency. The after effect. What happens next? Something strange happens once you hit that $1,000 mark. The Murphy's Law effect seems to diminish. When you have no money, it feels like the universe is out to get you. When you have a cushion, you realize that life is just life. Once you finish this 30-day challenge, you've proven something to yourself. You've proven that you can control your impulses. You've proven that you can generate extra income. You've proven that you are no longer a victim of your finances. From here, the momentum is unstoppable. You take that same intensity you used to build the $1,000 and you point it at your smallest debt, then the next. Then you build that cushion into a full 3 to 6 month emergency fund. But it all starts with this 1 month. My name is John. Stop worrying about the math and start mastering the man or woman in the mirror. I'll see you in the next video. All right, let's be honest. How many of you right now have that tiny nagging knot in your stomach? That what-if feeling that hits when your car makes a weird noise, or the washing machine starts rattling, or, God forbid, you get an unexpected medical bill in the mail. It's not full-blown panic, not yet. It's that low-grade hum of financial anxiety, that constant, quiet dread that just lingers. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? It's the feeling of living paycheck to paycheck, even if you think you make decent money. It's the tightrope walk where one wrong step, one minor financial hiccup, sends your entire budget crashing down. My name is John, and I spend way too much time thinking about why we, as intelligent, capable adults, allow ourselves to feel this way about money. If you're someone who feels trapped by that financial anxiety, constantly stressed about unexpected expenses, or you just want to breathe a little easier for the first time in years, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're tackling the $1,000 cushion, the 1-month challenge to end financial anxiety. Now, before you click away thinking, oh great, another finance guy telling me to save 6 months of expenses, just hold on. Because here's the thing, here's what most people don't realize. That massive, daunting 6-month emergency fund? It's not where you start, it's the finish line. And trying to jump straight to the finish line is why so many people feel like they're failing before they even begin. Look, if you're sitting there with $42 in your savings account, and someone tells you that you need $25,000 for a proper emergency fund, your brain doesn't get motivated. It shuts down. It's like telling someone who's never run a mile to go sign up for a marathon tomorrow. It's demotivating, it's overwhelming, and it leads to total paralysis. Let's look at the reality. The Federal Reserve, and this is a real staggering stat, reported that in 2022, roughly 37% of American adults could not cover a $400 emergency expense using cash or its equivalent. Think about that. Nearly 4 out of 10 people you see at the grocery store today are one flat tire away from a financial crisis. This is where it gets really interesting. What if I told you that just $1,000, not $10,000, not $50,000, could eliminate roughly 80% of the daily fires that cause you stress? Now you might be thinking, John, $1,000? In this economy? That won't even cover a month of rent. And you're right, it won't. But we're not trying to solve your housing crisis today. We're trying to kill the monster of anxiety. See, financial anxiety isn't caused by the big bills you know are coming. You've already made peace with your rent. You've made peace with your car payment. You know those numbers. The anxiety comes from the variable unknowns. Let's do some Quick math. A typical car alternator repair, $400 to $600. A deductible for a sudden ER visit, $250 to $500. Replacing a dead water heater, $800. A last-minute flight for a family emergency, $600. Here's the thing. Most emergencies that ruin your month aren't $10,000 catastrophes. They are $600 inconveniences. But when you have $0 in the bank, a $600 inconvenience is a life-altering disaster. You put it on a credit card at 24% interest. Now, that $600 repair actually costs you $1,200 by the time you pay it off. You're paying for today's disaster with tomorrow's food. That is the cycle of poverty, even if you're making a middle-class salary. Why $1,000? Because it's the psychological pivot point. When you have $1,000 tucked away in a separate account, one you don't touch, one you don't even look at, your brain chemistry actually changes. You move from a reactive state to a proactive state. Think of it like this. Imagine you're walking across a frozen pond. If you know the ice is only a quarter-inch thick, you're terrified. Every step is tentative. Your heart is racing. That's you living with no savings. But if you know that ice is a foot thick, you walk with confidence. You don't even think about the water underneath. The $1,000 cushion is that first inch of ice. It's the difference between, how am I going to survive this week, and, this sucks, but I've got it handled. But John, where do I find $1,000 in 30 days? Look, I'm going to be blunt. If you're serious about ending the anxiety, you have to be willing to get a little uncomfortable for 4 weeks. This isn't a lifestyle change, it's a sprint. It's a 30-day financial fast. Phase 1. The subscription scythe, days 1 through 5. Go through your bank statement. Every single app, every streaming service, every premium membership you haven't used in a month. Cut them. All of them. You can sign back up in 31 days if you miss them. Spoiler, you won't. Average save, $75 to $150. Phase 2. The Pantry Challenge, days 6 through 15. The average American household spends about $3,000 a year on food waste. For the next 2 weeks, you are not allowed to go to the grocery store for anything other than milk or eggs. You eat what is in the back of your freezer. That bag of frozen peas? Eat it. That box of pasta from 3 months ago? That's dinner. Average save, $200 to $400. Phase 3. The Marketplace Purge, days 16 through 25. This is where the real money is. Look around your house. That old guitar you don't play? Sell it. The designer shoes you wore once? Sell them. The guest room TV that nobody watches? Sell it. Average save, $300 to $600. Phase 4. The Hustle, days 26 through 30. This is the gap filler. If you're at day 26 and you only have $800, you find a way to make $200. Drive for a delivery app, walk dogs, offer to clean a neighbor's gutters, or work 5 hours of overtime. Now, you might be thinking, John, I have $15,000 in credit card debt. Shouldn't I put that $1,000 toward the balance to save on interest? No. This is the biggest mistake people make. If you pay down your credit card with your last $1,000 and then your car breaks down, what do? You reach for the credit card again. You're still a slave to the plastic. You haven't broken the cycle. The $1,000 cushion is your declaration of independence from the credit card companies. It's the insurance policy that ensures you never have to go deeper into debt again. We don't touch the debt until the cushion is built. Period. Here's what most people don't realize. Once you have that $1,000, the word no becomes your favorite word. Hey, do you want to go out for expensive drinks? No. Do you want to upgrade your phone early? No. You start saying no to the world because you've already said yes to yourself. You've prioritized your peace over their products. This is where it gets really interesting. When you hit that $1,000 mark, you'll realize that the things you thought were necessities were actually just distractions from your fear. You were spending money to feel better about having no money. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. We buy things we don't need to mask the stress of the debt we already have. Look, I'm not saying this is easy. If it were easy, 37% of the country wouldn't be panicking over a $400 bill. But I am saying it's simple. It's a choice. You can choose to keep that knot in your stomach. You can choose to keep wondering if this is the month the big one hits and wipes you out. Or you can choose 30 days of intensity, 30 days of beans and rice, 30 days of selling your clutter, 30 days of saying no. Imagine waking up on day 31. You open your banking app. You see that $1,000 sitting there. It's not for bills. It's not for the bank. It's for you. The car makes a noise? You don't sweat. The kid needs a new pair of shoes for school? You don't panic. The boss is being a jerk? You feel a little braver because you aren't one paycheck away from homelessness. Now look, we've talked about the math, we've talked about the how-to, but I want to go deeper. Because if we don't address the inner narrative, that $1,000 is going to burn a hole in your pocket by the middle of next month. Here's what most people don't realize. We are biologically wired to spend everything we gather. Our ancestors didn't have refrigerators. If they caught a deer, they ate the deer. If they found berries, they ate the berries. Saving for a rainy day is actually an unnatural act for the human brain. We are fighting thousands of years of evolution to build this cushion. This is where it gets really interesting. When you start this challenge, you're going to hit an identity crisis. For years, you've likely seen yourself as the person who's always broke, or the person who just isn't good with numbers. You wear that identity like a comfortable, albeit slightly tattered, old sweater. When that $1,000 hits your account, that identity is going to feel threatened. Your brain is going to scream, "This isn't who we are. We don't have savings. We are the people who treat ourselves when we're stressed." You'll find yourself looking for reasons to spend it. You'll suddenly decide that your 4-year-old phone is unusable, or that the house really needs a new rug to feel like a home. John, pointing at the camera, stop. Recognize that for what it is, self-sabotage. You aren't just saving money this month. You are rewiring your brain to believe that you are a person who keeps their word to themselves. If you tell yourself you're going to have $1,000 by day 30, and you do it, you've just performed a psychological miracle. You've proved that you are trustworthy. And once you trust yourself with $1,000, you can start to trust yourself with $10,000, and then $100,000. Let's talk about the biggest obstacle you're going to face. Your friends. Look, I'm going to be the bad guy here for a minute. Your friends, bless their hearts, are likely just as broke as you are. They're just better at hiding it behind financed SUVs and brunch photos. When you tell them, "Hey, I can't go out this Friday, I'm doing a 30-day financial reset," they're going to take it personally. They'll say things like, "It's just one night," or "Live a little, you can't take it with you." Here's the thing. They aren't trying to hurt you. They're trying to protect themselves. Your discipline shines a giant spotlight on their lack of it. When you say no to the $50 dinner, it forces them to realize they should be saying no too. Stay strong. Real friends will be there in 30 days. And who knows? Maybe by seeing your peace of mind, they'll start asking you how you did it. You aren't being cheap, you're being disciplined. There is a massive difference. Cheapness is about the price of things. Discipline is about the value of your future. While you're in this 30-day sprint, I want you to look at things you never thought of as expenses. Take a look at your autopay. We live in the subscription economy. Companies have figured out that if they can just get $9.99 or $14.99s out of you automatically every month, you'll forget it's even happening. It's passive bleeding. Go into your phone settings right now, literally, pause the video if you have to, and look at your active subscriptions. I bet you find at least 2 things you haven't used in 3 months. That's $25. Over a year? That's $300. That's 30% of your cushion just sitting there in digital dust. Kill it. And what about insurance? When was the last time you spent 20 minutes shopping for car insurance? Most people just let their policy renew every 6 months. I did this recently and saved $40 a month just by switching. That's $480 a year for 20 minutes of work. If I offered to pay you $480 for 20 minutes of work, you'd jump at it. So do it for yourself. I want to show you the compounding power of the small stuff. Let's say you find $15 a day. That sounds like a lot, right? But it's just a coffee and a prepared sandwich from a gas station. $15, 30 days, equals $450. Then you sell one item a week on an online marketplace for $50. $50, 4 weeks, equals $200. Then you take one side hustle shift. Maybe you do some freelance editing, or you help a friend move, or you work a Saturday at a local shop. One day of work equals $150. Finally, you cancel 3 subscriptions. 3, $20 equals $60. And you do the pantry challenge for the final 2 weeks of the month, saving you on 2 grocery trips. 2, $75 equals $150. Boom, $1,010. Notice what didn't happen in that list. You didn't get a raise. You didn't inherit money from a long-lost aunt. You just reclaimed the money that was already yours. You stopped the theft. Because that's what mindless spending is. It's you stealing from your future self. Now let's talk about the day after. You've got your $1,000. You feel like a king. You feel like a queen. And then the check engine light comes on. Or your kid breaks their glasses. Your first instinct will be, I knew it. I can't have nice things. The universe hates me. No, the universe doesn't hate you. This is why we built the cushion. When you spend that money on a legitimate emergency, I want you to do something weird. I want you to smile. I want you to smile because for the first time, that emergency didn't go on a credit card. It didn't cost you 20% interest. It didn't cause a fight with your spouse. You had the money. You paid the bill. You won. And then, you start the challenge again. You get that fund back up to $1,000 as fast as humanly possible. Here is the final secret. The $1,000 cushion is a gateway drug to freedom. Once you see that you can save $1,000 in a month, you start to realize that the unsolvable problems in your life are actually solvable. You start looking at your $20,000 car loan and thinking, if I can find $1,000 in a month, I can pay this car off in 18 months. You start looking at your mortgage or your student loans not as a life sentence, but as a math problem. The $1,000 cushion is the spark that lights the fire of your financial independence. It's the small, flickering flame that, if you protect it, will eventually grow into a bonfire that consumes your debt and warms your entire future. You have the plan. You have the math. You have the psychology. The only thing left is the action. Are you going to be part of the 37% who can't handle a $400 bill? Or are you going to be the person who says, enough is enough? Comment ready if you're starting today. I'm serious. Type it out. Make the commitment. And if you want to see the exact spreadsheet I use to track my leak audit, click the link in the description. It's free. I just want you to succeed. My name is John. I believe in you more than you probably believe in yourself right now. Go get your $1,000.